That's how Speaker Paul Ryan brushing aside claims that his departure will hurt Republicans in the midterm elections. A bigger question, who will take his place if Republicans hold the House in November? Kevin McCarthy and Steve Scalise are seen as the front runners. Joining us now is Terry Holt, a founder and partner at HDMK, and Marianne Marsh, a former senior advisor to Secretary John Kerry and a principal at Dewey Square Group. Terry, I guess one of the questions would be, do Scalise and McCarthy, if they're going to run for this, do they think they're running to be Speaker or Minority Leader?
Well, that's a very good question, because I think it depends a great deal on who the candidate for Speaker will be. If prospects look good for Republicans in the fall, then I think there might be more competition for the job, because it's much better to be Speaker than it is to be Minority Leader. And I think that what the Republicans are trying to do today on Capitol Hill, with Paul Ryan pushing back a little bit on people attempting to get him out of office early, with Scalise saying that he's not going to run against Kevin McCarthy, it looks to me like the Republicans at least have an ascension plan in place. And this announcement was only made yesterday. Whenever an announcement of this significance comes about, the Republican conference needs to take a few days to digest it. But I'll tell you what, I've talked to more Democrats around town, and frankly, with our at least plan in place for an ascension or a succession, the Democrats kind of wished that they had a plan in place, and that maybe Nancy Pelosi had made the announcement that Paul Ryan made yesterday.
Yeah, what do you think of that, Marianne? There is some people that think that Nancy Pelosi could do the Democrats a big favor in their goal to try to win back the House if she were to step aside, say, around the July 4th recess.
Make no mistake about it. The Democrats are going to win the House back, and Nancy Pelosi will be Speaker. She's the most underestimated politician on Capitol Hill. Period. End of sentence. And Kevin McCarthy knows that if he allows Paul Ryan to stay through January of 2019, he will never be Speaker. He knows that. So that politics abhors a vacuum. When Paul Ryan announced that he wasn't going to run, that he's retiring, that opened up a vacuum the size of the Grand Canyon. And now everyone's looking to fill it. And Paul Ryan has been a weakened Speaker ever since Donald Trump got into the White House. So I have no doubt it'll be very surprising if Paul Ryan makes it past the summer. And you have other shoes to drop. There's at least 10 more Republicans who are going to announce their retirements. You have more shoes to drop in the Mueller investigation. A lot's going to happen, and it makes it very tough to hang on if you're Paul Ryan.
Speaking of the Mueller investigation, take a listen to what Congressman Nadler said earlier today.
The president, like everyone else, is subject to the law, and he should know that he will be held accountable to the law. Statements like these, reports that the president has considered numerous times over the past year firing Mr. Mueller, and threats from congressional Republicans to, quote-unquote, impeach DOJ officials, Department of Justice officials, who refuse to cooperate in their conspiracy theories, are clear threats to the rule of law.
And yet, Terry, do you think that some Democrats actually would like for the president to fire Bob Mueller, the special counsel, because, you know, it would create all of these problems for him?
Absolutely. The people who are looking at this with the greatest anticipation are Democrats that wish that Donald Trump would just pull the trigger on Robert Mueller and go for it, because that would perhaps weaken the president in the eyes of some parts of the electorate. But I actually think that the bill that's being considered in the Senate today is kind of a way to let some of the air out of the balloon. There is quite a bit of strong sentiment that Mueller be protected on Capitol Hill. But Mitch McConnell has not guaranteed that bill would ever find a place on the floor of the Senate.
Yeah, right. So the president, it might not ever even reach to him. But they're trying to tell me I got to move on, Marianne. So let me just give it over to you for a final last word.
Look, the fact here is Donald Trump, it's not a coincidence that Donald Trump tweeted about an hour ago saying he had confidence in Mueller, the process, and in his own attorney. It's also not a coincidence that he happened to meet with Rod Rosenstein this afternoon at the White House for regular business. That's because this legislation's on the table. He does not want to be handcuffed, so he could fire Mueller. He's made it plain clear he's considered it in the past. So he doesn't want the handcuffs of that law either. That's why he's done this. He wants the option to get rid of him, and that would be bad for the country.
So maybe for the next 24 hours, we can all put aside the idea that he's going to fire Mueller and talk about other things. All right, Terry Holt and Marianne Marsh, thank you.